I've seen over the years that I'm affected by the people that are around me. And I know that's obvious, and I know it's obvious for a lot of people, but I've seen it for myself that if there's someone who's negative around me, it's hard for me to be around that person. Right. If someone's very positive, it's much easier. Now, there's always a balance, and I think everyone's got to figure out what that balance is. Like you said, can't always be sunshine and rainbows. It just can't be. Yeah. And sometimes that could be frustrating too. That could be annoying, but I'd rather that than the negative side of it. So I find it just incredibly important to be around. And it's not just internally. I've seen it externally, so meaning partners, clients, the relationships that you have externally, people that you just deal with on a regular basis. If the phone rings, which I guess it doesn't ring as much because people are texting and whatever it is, but like if someone's reaching out to you, do you cringe a little bit when that person calls? Do you get a little anxiety when that person calls? And if you do, you really have to think about what that relationship is to you. And I've seen that before. I've had toxic relationships with clients in the past because they were so high demanding. And I'm okay with high demanding clients. It's not bad. It's just the negative that they brought out in people. And I see how to me, the telltale sign is if they treat someone in our group, in our company, wrong. Now, I get it. It can't be perfect all the time. But when it's consistent and it's bad behavior and it's negative towards these person, then I have a problem with that. And I don't want people to work here to be treated poorly like they don't matter, because they do matter. And I think that's a telltale sign that if you can't respect other people, then I have a problem with that. It's funny, I was listening to there's a podcast, it's Zach Smith's podcast, who's a former wide receiver coach. I'm not going to say like where I'm at with all that, but the interesting part is he talks about in 2015, Ed Warner became the offensive coordinator for Ohio State. And I have no idea what's true or what's not true. It doesn't even matter. The fact of the matter is he tells the story as this guy, Ed Warner, had no respect for anybody there. If someone told him to bring a certain color Gatorade at every time, and if he didn't, he would cuss him out, he'd yell at him. It was just constantly yelling and cussing and disrespectful. And it's just like, you know what? There's no place for that. There's just no place for that. It's one thing to get upset and frustrated, and there's down times, but at a certain point, there's a respect factor that goes into it. And it's being around positive people, because I think that just encourages what you do. And that is another, going back to a conversation we've had in the past about why you podcast. I felt like at a time when things are getting in your head and you have negative noise coming in or whatever that might be, you're not sure what to think, that if you fill your mind with positive energy, not just like positive thoughts, but good strategy, good ideas, good thinking, whatever that might be, that's where podcasts can come in. So if you're having a good conversation with someone, and I'm talking to you, John, and we're having a positive conversation, that leads to my brain not being able to think about possible negative stuff that's going on in the world. I've heard this, you block all signals forwards and backwards. You be present in the moment and you think about those types of things. And it might not be a great conversation, but it's a strategic conversation. That's a positive thing. You're going down this path that you want to be going down, as opposed to thinking about all the negative. So to me, that is positive. It's not just happy, feely Anthony Robbins all the time, although that's not bad. It's just get into that mode where you're progressing, you're pursuing something, and you're going down that path.
Right. I'm Eric Kasimov, and for all of us here at CADSource, thank you for listening to Content Matters. If you'd like to connect, you can find me on LinkedIn or Twitter. That's it for now.